Okay, here we go. Episode 7 of Solo Camping for Two. Gen is at his apartment, and it has a shot of all of his camping gear. But then Gen wakes up and he's like, dude, I'm fucking fiending. I need to build a fucking campfire.
Campfires are heroin for Gen, as we can see here.
He said he'll just pack up the necessities and he gets ready to roll. And then he grabs a metal container as he's leaving that is on his credenza or Davenport or chiffon at the entrance of his house. And he's like, oh, I know. I'll make some of this while I'm out. And then he leaves.
Just so mad at you for saying all those words that don't mean anything.
In his vestibule, on top of the credenza, he had a container. Gen is now like fucking under a bridge like a hermit
like
or
a
something.
troll. He's a bridge troll.
Yeah, 100%. And he's gathering materials and he narrates he's finally got a day off and he hasn't built a campfire in 2 whole weeks.
It's tough.
His stomach rumbles and he grills some convenience store yakitori and cracks a cold one. And he got a new camping table and he says it has plenty of room and it's super light. He's had his eye on it for a while and he satisfies his desire to camp when he can't camp by just spending money on gear, but then new gear makes him want to go camp even more.
I get it. I mean, I would, if I was buying things to use for my main hobby, I would want to use them immediately. Like I bought that 5080 that's coming in on Saturday, baby. Let's go! I bought a whole new computer.
I get it. Because before I went camping the other week, we went to the camping store and we're looking at all this stuff and we're like, do I need that? Do
Probably
I need
not.
this?
And then
This is how I buy things. I look at all the stuff that I want and I'm like, okay, do I have the necessities? Can I drink water? Can I eat food? Do I have shelter? Cool. And then the extra things, I was like, do I need that? So then I go camping and then while I'm camping, I see if the situation occurs where I would need something like that. And the situation did occur. And I'm like, damn, I wish I bought that thing. So now I know that when I buy it next, I won't be unhappy with my
Greg
purchase.
every day wakes up and does deductive reasoning. He wakes up butt ass naked and he's like, am I cold or am I warm? I'll put on a shirt. I'm Donald Ducking today. My top half was cold.
Normally I like to Porky Pig, not Donald Duck, but you know.
And then he goes about his day and he's like, do people get mad at my penis being so fucking huge and flopping around? I should put on pants. And then you go about and you're like, pants. But my pants are falling down. I'll put on a belt. This is what Greg's whole day looks like. Every day. That's how the camping works too.
You know, you're not too far off, actually, to be honest, but Gen throws his little metal container on the fire that he took from home, and he's like, these things are fucking sick. I should tell her about them. And then he's like, wait a minute. And then Shizuku strolls in and is like, hey, my graduation ceremony was earlier today, and she's wearing a hakama. And she's like, Gen, isn't my outfit cute? Tee-hee, wink. She said when she messaged him earlier, she decided to stop by since he was close and show him her new outfit. And Gen is captivated. And Shizuku is like, oh, I see you looking me up and down. And he's like, no, I wasn't doing that. And Gen is like, you should back up. You don't want sparks on your sick threads. I could have just made a segue. I'm not going to. Save it for later. Shizuku is like, you right, it's a rental, so I can't get it dirty. And Gen is like, I didn't think you'd come. And especially in that spicy outfit.
He says none of these things. Gen literally is sitting there and he's like thinking these things in his head. He's like, wow, she looks great. And then he says, yeah, you look all right. I don't want you to get sparks on your stuff. You should probably back up. And then she's like, oh, but do you like it? He's like, it's fucking whatever, dude. I'm just looking out for you, dog. And that's the exchange.
That's not how I played it in my
I mean,
brain.
in real life, they fucking sat there and she was like, I don't know if he likes it.
She knows. Gen was like, when she walked up, he was just like that.
He
just
broke
like
his
that.
fucking neck, bro.
Yeah. Dude.
He's like, I'm trying to get it all in. I can't visualize.
But Shizuku is like, campfires are allowed around here. And he's like, in certain areas, but this is public land right here. So it's okay.
Just so the people that are watching can see us. Also, you could see us on Spotify. We have the new thing where you could see the videos of us basically looking like we're headbanging. So if you are listening on Spotify, try and open up the video and see us.
Two really old guys headbanging. That's what it looks like. Gen says, rivers owned by local governments have different rules, and if you want to use fire, you need to know the applicable laws. Gen says people believe you can't build a fire in your backyard, but that isn't true, and only the act of burning off fields is prohibited, meaning burning waste material outside designated facilities, and it isn't just about following the rules, but having proper etiquette. And Shizuku is just watching Gen sentimentally as he goes off about campfires and campfire law. She's like the only girl that is just like, campfire laws. Oh man, this gets
Yeah,
me
what the
going.
fuck? Okay, but I get it from a purely hobby standpoint. Like when you meet somebody that you could just say things to and they just absorb it and then go, wow, I'm really excited about that. I have no idea what you fucking said, but they're like courteous to your interests.
They're like, I'm glad you're having fun.
That's what she's doing. She does want to learn to a certain extent, and she's also trying to be like, oh, I want to get in them pants, but also trying to embrace his nerdy side. I thought it was cute too.
I thought she was doing a good job.
I've said it before, and I'm saying it right here, is literally the male fantasy, the TV show. Like, it is 100%, like you've got some hot young girl that comes up to you and is like, teach me, daddy. And he's like, I don't have time for that. I have other things to attend to. You stay over there. And then she's like, wow, that makes me want to hang out with him more. And then he's like, no, I can't fall in love with this young, hot woman. I have to do other things. And then she's like, but Gen, this is the male fantasy.
She's like, daddy, chill.
Great reference, but I don't think she's asking him to chill. I think she's like, daddy, please.
Shizuka thinks that Gen really values rules and etiquette as she is blushing.
Yeah, and she's like, break the rules on me, daddy. Golly.
She's like, you didn't go camping this week? And he says he's been busy and finally got a day off. And Shizuku says she wanted to go camping too, but has also been busy with school applications and stuff. And she says she wants to be a chef. And she says she feels like she's imposing on her parents. Now, what do you think Gen's job is?
I think Gen's just like a salary man. Yeah, I think Gen just like does shit during the day and just hates his life. That's why we don't see any of it, because he's like, well, camping's the only thing I give a shit about.
I want to say he's like, he's a tradesman of some sort.
Yeah, very possible. Handyman or some shit.
Mechanic. I'm going to go with
That'd
mechanic.
be so sick. If like at the very end of the show, Takumi like walks in and he's like, I need to soup up the 8-6. And then Gen turns around and he's like, I'm going camping this weekend. And that's how the show ends.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'll ride with you, Toretto. All right. Gen says, if you've got parents willing to support you, then I don't see any problems. But then she sees the little metal stove thing and is like, what's that? And he's like, why don't you open it? Surprise, dick in a box. But no, it is something else. She does, and she's like, what's this shit? And he's like, it's char cloth. It's carbonized cloth, and it makes for good tinder. Cedar leaves and birch bark can be found around campsites, but sometimes it's unusable due to the rain or humidity. That's crazy. I ran into that same problem, Gen. And Shizuku says, damn, is this shit hard to make? And Gen is like, I'm going to make another batch. You want to watch? And she's like, fuck yeah, I want to watch. Gen says you need a steel can with a lid and 100% cotton cloth. Then cut the cloth to fit inside the can, poke a hole in the top, and then throw it in the fire. It will start to smoke, and once it stops smoking, then remove it. Basically, the cloth doesn't get enough oxygen inside of the can to burn, so it carbonizes and turns into charcoal. And then I have a note here that says that I believe this is the same method that they use to make actual charcoal briquettes that you buy in the store for like grilling.
Way to think outside the box and inside the steel can.
Gen makes a fire using the char cloth and says that you can use store-bought fire starters, but there's a charm in using something that you create yourself.
Dude, from this screenshot and Spotify, you can see the screenshot as well. If anyone claps at me like this, like, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. That is the cutest shit in the world. When somebody's fucking so excited that they clap in front of their face, not like, oh yeah, that was fucking sick, dude. Like they're so excited they got to do something with their hands. I know somebody's interested in what I'm talking about.
Like she claps and then you clap her.
Greg, this show isn't that sexual. It's a pretty chill show.
I don't know what is going on right now.
This show's pretty chill. It's pretty much like two people just interacting in the world, and Greg's like, yeah, but they fuck, right? Are you gonna fuck, though? Y'all fucking? Or what?
I think that's pretty much how my mind works. I'm sitting at a coffee shop and someone's like, oh yeah, can I get a coffee? They're like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, they're fucking 100%.
What's your name so I can write it on the cup? And they're like, my name's fucking you. What's up? And then they just start fucking making out super.
Yeah.
Like Greg's just like, man, the world likes to bang a lot.
Yeah, and then I'm just sitting in the corner just editing
you're
an
just
episode of our
fucking
podcast.
drinking gamer subs, and you're like, dude, what the fuck? Why did I even come here?
Yeah, I'm in a coffee shop drinking gamer subs.
Exactly.
Gen is like, anyway, get the fuck out of here. I can't enjoy my campfire with you distracting me in that fetching outfit of yours. Shizuku is like, what do I do with this char cloth? And he's like, it's yours. As a reward for successfully building a campfire the other day. And she's like, I will treasure this forever. And he's like, no, man, fucking use that shit. Don't treasure it.
I taught you this to use it so you don't die out here.
That's like someone bakes you a cake and you're like, I'm going to treasure this forever. And then 3 days later, it's just molded.
You're like, yeah, this is literally how I accept gifts. If somebody gives me a coin, it's going in my wallet. I'm like putting it in the pockets. I'm treasuring this forever.
I actually do the same thing. That's why I hate cards, because if you give me one, I have to keep it. Like, I'm not going to throw the fucking card away. So if you give me a card, now I have to put this somewhere. Just don't fucking do it.
This is a bag of cards for my birthdays and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I have the same thing. I have a box just in the closet, which is all of the cards that people have given me.
And it sits right next to me while I'm fucking, look, fucking cupcake birthday card. Dude, Greg, why are we the same person? What happened?
I don't know, because this is a card I got.
Yeah. Sassy and classy? Oh, man, that's adorable. Sentimental value. Apparently, we're sentimental old dudes.
This is what happens when you get old, everybody. You just save birthday cards.
What the fuck is this? Who gave me this card? Hold on. Oh, my house cleaner gave me a card. That was a Christmas card. This is when I used to have a house cleaner. That says, a Christmas riddle. What is 6 inches, hard, and begs to be licked? It says, a candy cane.
Again, it's like sick. Now I can focus on my campfire. And Shizuku yells from the bridge that she's looking forward to camping together again. And he's like, man, stop shouting. Someone's going to hear. Afterward, Shizuku goes out with her friends, and they're like, man, you went to show that old fucker your outfit? Did he say anything? And Shizuku is like, no. But then she strokes her char cloth container. And the girls are like, what the fuck is that? It's so dirty. Get that shit off the table. But then from there, it cuts to 23 years ago to 11-year-old Gen. Gen goes to a campground, and the manager is like, oh, young Gen, where is your father? And he said, oh, he'll be here in a little bit. And to get started without him. And the manager is like, well, that sounds like bullshit. But because I know you two and you come here all the time, I'll let it slide. Young Gen gathers wood, and old Gen narrates that's when he started solo camping. Back to present Gen, it's dinner time, and he says normally he makes easy meals, but once a year he treats himself to sake and snacks and makes a whole spread. He pours a sake for himself and then one for the homies, his dad. Cuts back to young Gen at the hospital, and his dad is like, don't worry, man, I'll be out of here in no time. Hey, and gives him a high five. And then he died 2 days later. And at the funeral, there's gossip about what's going to happen to Gen. And his dad just divorced his wife, and she doesn't want to take him in.
Real quick, this is exactly how my father passed. Like, almost to a T. Like, I had talked to him 3 days prior at the hospital. He's like, I'm gonna be great, dude. Everything's fine. I feel good. Feeling great. And then 3 days later, he was gone. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? But yeah, love your parents, kids. Remember that.
Yeah, and I'm sure your parents know what's going on, but they just don't have the heart to be like, son,
I'm gonna die tomorrow. I'll see you later, nerd.
yeah.
Good luck out there. You're gonna be on your own. You ready to be stressed?
It sucks that this happened. I mean, well, number one, your parents die when you're young. But then number two, like your other parent doesn't want to take you in. That kind of sucks for the kid.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. As I've grown older, I've realized how difficult parenthood could possibly be and how hard it is to just be like, I'm 39 years old. I'm just like rolling through. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, and I'm Greg at 4 a.m. waking up to pee, butt-ass naked. That's how my day's going at all times. It just happens, and these people, just like you, are trying to find the answers to the world and doing the best they can.
It is true. Like, the older I get, the more I realize that no one knows what the fuck is happening, and we're all just doing our best
100%.
out there. I do feel, as an adult, you have some unwritten rules of responsibility. If you do have a kid, like in Gen's situation here, like the adult thing would be to, I don't know his relationship with his mom or anything like that, but as the adult or whatever, it's kind of like you gotta, you know, it's probably inconvenient to you if you don't want to take care of your own kid, I guess, but take him in for a certain amount of time until you can find someone else to take care of him if you really don't want to.
We see, so he probably needed the shelter, and the mom was like, "Nah, I got some other stuff going on."
Yeah, I mean, he's 11, so it's not like he can get an apartment on his own or even get a job. He's not even allowed to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough old parenting stuff.
Yeah.
Gen says he struggled with relationships and had no friends, and his dad was his world, and then cuts to young Gen at the campsite. And he says he doesn't remember how he got there, or what he planned to do, or why he went, since this was where him and his dad were planning to go. Young Gen is sitting at the campfire, but then passes out as the camp manager is walking around, and he goes face first into the fire, and now we know how Gen got the mark under his left eye.
He should have 0 eyebrows and 0 like lashes at this point, just to clarify.
Yeah, 100%.
He should 100% be bald.
Any peach fuzz he had at 11 is now seared.
His full beard, because Gen was burly at 11 years old, gone.
Young Gen lived with his grandparents, who were pretty hands-off, and he was alone as usual. In middle school, he started visiting the campsite they always went to, but was restricted to day camping, and he ruminated over his dad's words and made mistakes, and after a while, more time went past than he had spent with his dad, and on his anniversary, he visits his favorite campsite by his favorite stream, and prepares sake and his favorite snacks, and meets his dad at the campfire. He says fires are a strange thing. We use them to scare wildlife, or for battle, or to stoke ancient memories. And he says some scholars say campfires produce a natural wave called the 1/F. I'm sure that F probably has a mathematical name. I don't know what it is. Fluctuation, and it soothes people. Gen tells his dad that he started camping with a strange girl, and they eat together, but do everything else separate. And he'd never thought he'd teach someone else to camp like he did for him. Flashes back to a slightly older Gen and Akihito eating, and the waitress trips and hits him with a beer and lands on top of him, and he face plants into his yakisoba, and she's like, oh, Gen, oh, it's you. Do you remember me? And he's like, nah, bitch. And she's like, oh, I was your classmate. And he's like, nope, still doesn't ring a bell. She's like, oh, hey, Akihito, you're here too? I'm off work soon. I'll join you for beers. On me. And Gen thinks she's spirited and rough around the edges. But there was also something feminine about her. And they all hung out together. And sometimes just her and Gen would meet up. She says that Gen was kind of famous in high school for being a weird-ass loner, but some of them thought he was a cool lone wolf, and she always wanted to talk to him. Gen goes on and says she was a strange woman, but got along with everyone, but then cuts to them banging, and after Gen gets up, she's like, oh, you're going camping again? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, how come you never invite me? And Gen is like, takes a drag from his cig. Baby girl, I'm a solo camper. And she's like, well, you could take me once. But in the end, she left Gen. And Gen says it wasn't a clean break.
Okay, I just have to touch on this because we get a shot of Gen pulling his pants up and he's like, all right, see you later, babe. It was fucking sick. And she's like, can I come with you? And he's like, nah, I got somewhere to be. And she's just like, okay, well, just sit over here, I guess. But real quick, to point out what everybody else is noticing in the room, she got some big ass titties. What the fuck? Like, every girl in this anime, I mean, it's literally, like I said, the male fantasy is like, oh, babe, I've got some stuff to do. Like, post-coitus, like, me going to play video games. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I've got some really important stuff to get taken care of. I've got to go defeat some dragons. They're not going to defeat themselves. Can I come? No, I don't need a healer. Thank you. And then I just walk away.
To me, this is kind of like Gen understanding he doesn't... I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where you don't know it's important till it's gone,
sure,
sort of
but
thing.
Also, I don't think he's that into her. And I think that Gen doesn't understand his emotions at all. Like, he is emotionally stunted in most situations, being the lone wolf guy. So, like, learning that with Shizuku and, like, learning how to take care of somebody else and, like, help and have some sort of companionship is something he's learning super late in life. Whereas, like, this is just a proof that he was just fucking stupid. It wasn't like he was a man whore. He's not, like, running around, like, the whole town, like, hey, dude, I'm working a host cafe, and I just bang chicks all day, and they pay me. It's literally, like, he has one thing on his mind, and it's to be as alone as possible.
Yeah, and, I mean, obviously, this is more unresolved emotional stuff he has with his dad.
Oh yeah, 100%. His mom left him,
and he doesn't know how to deal with it, really. He doesn't really know what to do, but his only release is to go solo camping. So when someone wants to encroach on the one thing that he feels like he has on his own, he's just like, nah, I'm good.
But at least we know he put down the good dick because she's smoking afterward. You know what I mean? Go Gen.
Yeah, that solo camping D.
He was animalistic with it. He was like, I fought a bear once. Watch what I did to it.
Back to the present. Gen makes some scrambled eggs and bacon with coffee, his dad's favorite. And Gen says now that he's spent more time solo camping than time with his dad, he can say that he truly loves camping. Cuts back to Gen talking to the girl, and she's like, have you ever thought about doing what you love for work? And he's like, no, it's not that easy. And then I have a note here that says, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Gen should just be a fucking park ranger or open his own campsite or something.
Episode, like, bro, just fucking do it.
Yeah, and that's what she said. She's like, yeah, it is. I'm going to do that and move abroad and stand on huge, giant stages. And she's been saving up money since she was a kid, so she could do that. Gen thinks he has his own dream. That was his dad's, but now it's become his. And he couldn't say it back then to the girl. But maybe now he could. But it's his dream to have his own campsite someday. And he thinks Kana, who is the girl, what are you up to now? Just then, it cuts to the airport, and Kana has landed back in Japan because she had a hankering for Gen's Gamersups that you can go to gamersups.gg and use promo code DJ Montague to get 10% off your limited edition tub of Gen's Raging Hardwood.
I had liquid in my mouth, Greg.
Gamersups.gg and use promo code DJ Montague.
That would be a fucking real, like, flavor. Gen's Raging Charcoal Wood or something like that. Solo camping for 2. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I think it's good. And now I'm kind of like, she doesn't seem like she's that mad. Like, Gen was like, man, that breakup was really rough. Like, fuck.
I don't think they're going to show that yet, though. Like, she's not even thinking about Gen. She's literally just landed back in Japan and having a big stretch.
No. She came back to Japan for Gen, calling it right now.
No. She came back to Japan because she was like, cool. I tried out there. I don't think it worked because in most situations, everyone's dreams get crushed. Welcome to real life. And then she moved back to 100%. She moved back home because she was like, well, I know how to live over there. I'll go do this. And then went back home. She's like, I tried it. It was fun. It was cool. Cultured.
No, she came back for Gen. She's going to go visit Gen. and then Shizuku's gonna be there, and then that's when you get your triangle love.
Okay, that's not my thought process, but I think they're gonna meet up, have drinks, and then Shizuku will like walk in and be like, "Hey, who the fuck is this?" And Gen will be like, "Oh, this is my old friend Kana." And then she'll be like, "I used to bang Gen. Hello," and then shake her hand, and then stare at her in the face.
Yeah, are you the new Gen banger? Like, nice to meet you.
Isn't he terrible in bed? Oh my god, he always calls himself a bear.
Yeah, isn't it the worst? Like, after he's done, he's just like tries to go camping.
And he just roars the whole time, and it's so fucking weird.